Caesarian life, as the last pharaoh of Egypt, was full of drama from the day he was born. He was a clear symbol of the fragile relationships between Rome and Egypt, two powerful influences in the Mediterranean. His title, Ptolemy XV, Philopator Philometor Caesar, promised a blending of cultures and a potential bridge between the Roman Republic and the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egypt. But the life he actually lived was not as great as his family history implied. Caesarion was born in 47 BCE, a child of two of history's most incredible figures, Cleopatra VIII, the final dynamic ruler of the Ptolemaic kingdom of Egypt, and Julius Caesar, the Roman dictator who had a significant effect on the course of Western history. His birth was part of her mother Cleopatra plan to make her position as the ruler of Egypt stronger by teaming up with Rome through her alliance with Caesar. His mother's relationship with Caesar made Caesarian life complicated, with a mix of diplomacy and ambition for power within their family. After the Caesar assassination in 44 BCE, Cleopatra went back to Egypt with her son. They ruled together as leaders, trying to keep Egypt independent while Rome was having internal chaos. Caesarion had a difficult childhood because of his mother's political maneuvers to keep their reign. Therefore, he was educated in the Greek tradition, learning Greek philosophy, sciences, and arts in the capital of Egypt, named Alexandria, which was a diverse and multicultural place. At the same time, the young pharaoh life took a dramatic turn when Mark Antony came to Egypt in 41 BCE. Antony and Cleopatra first became allies and eventually fell into a romantic relationship. This relationship resulted in the birth of 3 siblings for Caesarion, which made the political situation more complicated. In 34 BCE, Antony declared that Caesarion was the legitimate son and heir of Julius Caesar. Now things took a turn, and Caesarion was declared a threat. At that time, the Roman world had jumped into a series of civil wars. Octavian, who was chosen by Caesar to be his heir, eventually became the most powerful leader. But wait, did you know who was Octavian? Caesar had no living legitimate children under Roman law, and so had adopted Octavian, his grandnephew, in his will, making him his primary heir. So let's back to the topic. During this chaotic time, Caesarian position became even more politically controversial. Antony declared in 34 BCE that Caesarion was the legitimate son and heir of Julius Caesar. It was a problem for Octavian because he also wanted to be the leader of Rome and wanted to control over Caesar's legacy. Eventually, the fight about who has the right to rule made Octavian and Antony even worse. It also made Caesarion a key figure in the struggle for power that would determine the fate of the Roman and Egyptian worlds. On the other hand, Cleopatra and Mark Antony got married and recognized Caesarion as Caesar's son to counterbalance the growing power of Octavian. It was a bold move by the couple, but this marriage also made Caesarion a target. Octavian started a war by saying he was protecting Rome from being controlled by foreigners because he was afraid of Caesarion and his mother's relationship with Antony. Finally, this fight ended in the Battle of Actium in 31 BCE. Octavian won the battle, which led to the downfall of Antony and Cleopatra rule. It was a big fight between the fleets of Cleopatra and Mark Antony against the navy of Octavian, who later became Emperor Augustus. However, the defeat at Actium was catastrophic for Cleopatra and Antony, leading to a devastating loss. In the aftermath, Antony and Cleopatra went back to Alexandria. They wanted to protect Egypt from Octavian's advancing forces, which were coming closer. However, the situation was horrible. Their friends were not as loyal and supportive as before, and Octavian's diplomatic efforts further isolated Antony and Cleopatra. In 30 BCE, Octavian's army entered Egypt, facing little resistance. Antony thought Cleopatra had died, and he killed himself. Cleopatra also chose to kill herself instead of being taken as a prisoner to Rome, because she didn't want to make a deal with Octavian. After the horrifying defeat at the hands of Octavian and the suicides of Cleopatra and Antony, a question arises here: what happened to Caesarion? After Octavian's forces took over Alexandria in 30 BCE, his mother sent Caesarion to India to keep him safe before her suicide. However, Caesarion never reached his destination. Octavian's soldiers caught him. As part of calculating political expediency, Octavian ordered the execution of the 17-year-old Caesarion, allegedly saying that too many Caesars is not good.